Okay, Glenn, James Parker, just a quick review from our session yesterday, mate. So we've got Hunter Mahan up on the right side, and I thought that would be a good example to use from a down the line shot because he turns really well, he exits left. So, we're observing a push, we're observing a shot that curves too much to the left, right? So that's our observation. What's causing that problem? How are we diagnosing it? Well, the path is too much from the inside, right? You can see that just before impact. And also, when you look at through impact and post impact, you look at your hands and arms, how your hands are going, they're still going out instead of exiting left, instead of turning the corner now with your hands. What they should be doing, they're actually still going out. Okay, so post impact, your arm is too much away from the side of your body, so there's no connection there. With the path going too much from the inside out and no connection with your right arm and your lack of turn, right? You can see how closed you are there with your turns. The club face is just going to whip over, right? So we have a path problem and we have a face to path relationship problem, right? So we've got to work on two things. We've got to work on path and we have to work on slowing that face rotation down, right? And generally speaking, the one has a knock-on effect with the other. We spoke about that. Okay, so it's path and face rotation. So then as we go through the swing, just looking at the setup, we can definitely get our hands further away from our body, can't we? I mean, we spoke about that. Your hands are kind of inward, whereas you look at the pros, most of them are just falling down from their shoulders or just slightly hanging away from their shoulders, right? So your hands are a little bit inward. That's something that we can chip away at and work on in the next few weeks when you come and see me for a couple more lessons. As we take the club away, a little bit under the plane with regards to the club head, but your hands are moved inward, right? Hands are moved inward nicely. As we go halfway back, right leg's straightening a little bit, left leg's flexing a little bit. But what I'm noticing here is, and I think what we worked on towards the end of the session with moving your hands outward, which I'll show you in a second, is going to help. Is going to help how your right arm folds. Right, you can see how awkward this right arm is at that position. Right. So the right arm's not sort of, there's not enough rotation in it. There's not enough external rotation going on in your shoulder. But I think the move that we made towards the end of the session started to make that a little bit better, and certainly the glove under the armpit made it a little bit better. So, look at plane-wise, the club and your hands kind of going through the base of your right bicep, which is what we see with a lot of the pros, right? The base of the bicep, right bicep. But then you lift your arms up, right? Then there's a big lift up with your arms, so you've got all this space underneath that right arm. You look at Hunter Mahan as he gets to the top. If he had a glove or a T-peg or something just pinching underneath his right armpit, it would still be there at the top of the swing, right? So his hands are deeper, and also his arm somewhat matches his shoulder plane for a one-plane swing, right? Let's get that line back. And then as we start down, so you kind of lift your arms up off your body there. So hands are a bit high, and then you come down, then you kind of reroute it, right, which you told me that you've been working on all these years. But you can see just how, as you start down, how it's just your hands and arms falling down. There's no real effort to turn back towards the ball, right? So we're turning away from the ball, right? Turning away from the target. As we start the downswing, we've then got to start to turn back towards the target. So, no real effort, and that's why I said the turns. Ultimately your turns have to be more aggressive coming down into the ball, right? So you can see there down to P5 and P6. If we stop you there at P6, and you look at Hunter Mahan at P6, and we're looking at hip and shoulder turn, hip and shoulder rotation. Well, his hips are already out the way, right? We'll do this in red, right? Because we can see a little bit of his left butt cheek. Can't see any of your left butt cheek. Can actually still see some of your left knee this side, right? And he's also got his shoulders back to about 0 as well at P6, right? Your shoulders are still pointing way off to the right? So obviously coming down into impact, that club head's going to come at the ball way too far from the inside. Right foot is still very much planted on the ground. So we can definitely work on sliding your hips further forward as well, closer to the target. That will help you get your right foot off the ground. But you can see, as Hunter comes into impact, right, hips well out the way, shoulders well out the way, right, 30 odd degrees rotation at impact, right. I would say your shoulders here are still kind of, well, definitely closed. Your hips are maybe back to 0 at P7, but your shoulders are still closed. So what that then does is you can see from that position, Hunter is able to turn the corner with his hands, and his hands start exiting left, look, post impact. So that just after impact, you can see his right arm is actually moved inward. Just post impact there, right, your right arm is actually moving outward, look, right. So we need you turning harder so that we can get your hands moving round the corner, right? And then obviously P8, you can see how the shaft comes up through your neck. Club face very kind of whipped over, we know that. Whereas you see the pro, he's exiting really low and left, right? It's a very, that's a very kind of anti-hook swing with Hunter, right? Where he's exiting left. Really low and left, probably hitting like a little 1 or 2 yard fade or something like that. But we've got to kind of exemplify what he's doing and understand what he's doing and try and emulate it to get you out of these hook moves, this hook swing. Okay. So that's down the line view. I'll get some other camera angles up and shoot you over another a face on view.